Share on Pinterest. The terms blunt, spliff, and joint are often used interchangeably, but they're not quite the same. To make things a bit more complicated, pot lingo varies from place to place. Here's a look at what it all means in the United States. What is a blunt, anyway? Blunts are cigars that have had the tobacco removed and replaced with marijuana. They can also be rolled using tobacco leaf wrappers. As for the name, it comes from the Phillies Blunt cigar brand. According to various internet sources, blunts originated in New York as a method for smoking pot discreetly, among other things. What to know? Here are some things to consider before you get out that tobacco leaf or hit the corner store for a blunt wrap. Blunts contain a lot more pot. Cigars are a lot bigger than the average joint, which means they can hold a lot more pot. Smoking an entire blunt is roughly the equivalent of smoking 6 joints. Cigars and their wrappers are highly toxic. Even if you remove the tobacco, high concentrations of cancer-causing nitrosamines and other toxins created during the fermentation process may remain. And because cigar wrappers are more porous than rolling papers, the burning is less complete, resulting in smoke that has higher concentrations of toxins. You're inhaling harmful toxins. All smoke is harmful to lung health, no matter what you're inhaling. According to the American Lung Association, marijuana smoke contains a lot of the same toxins and carcinogens as tobacco smoke. Smoking pot usually involves inhaling deeper and holding large amounts of unfiltered smoke for longer. This exposes you to even more irritants and toxins that damage your lungs and airways. What about spliffs? A spliff is a blend of cannabis and tobacco, usually in cigarette rolling papers. The word spliff is West Indian and is said to be a take on the word split, as in split the difference between weed and tobacco, and whiff, referring to the smell of the smoke. Or, perhaps, referring to how adding tobacco masks the smell of the pot. What to know? Adding tobacco means less pot, which is good, right? Not necessarily. Both marijuana and tobacco smoke can damage your lungs and increase your risk for several serious conditions. Adding tobacco to marijuana just means you're getting the damaging effects of tobacco, too. Here's what you need to know before getting spliffy with it. Smoking tobacco and weed together can increase your risk for addiction. There's evidence trusted source that smoking marijuana with tobacco increases cannabis-dependent symptoms. The two appear to balance out the negative symptoms caused by both. Smoked together, they also seem to enhance the enjoyable symptoms, such as relaxation. This makes a person less likely to notice the ill effects, and more likely to keep smoking. Unfiltered tobacco smoke increases your risk for lung cancer and death. A recent study found that people who smoke unfiltered cigarettes are twice as likely to die from lung cancer and 30% more likely to die of any cause than smokers of filtered cigarettes. A spliff may contain less tobacco than a cigarette, but it's still unfiltered tobacco smoke nonetheless. Where do joints fit in? Joints are the simplest of the bunch. They're just ground marijuana rolled in cigarette papers. Sometimes people roll them with a crutch, which is basically just a stiffer bit of paper to hold the weed in place. What to know? Unlike spliffs and blunts, which contain tobacco, joints contain nothing but cannabis and the paper it's rolled in. The upside to smoking joints is that you're not exposing yourself to tobacco or nicotine. Still, they're not much better for you. Marijuana smoke can be just as harmful as tobacco smoke. Smoking marijuana irritates the lungs. People who smoke it often have the same breathing issues as tobacco smokers, such as chronic cough and frequent lung infections. Smoking marijuana may cause air pockets in the lungs. According to the American Lung Association, smoking weed has been linked to the development of large air bubbles in the lungs and air pockets between both lungs and the chest wall in young to middle-aged adults who smoke a lot of pot. Secondhand marijuana smoke may be more dangerous than directly inhaled smoke. Secondhand marijuana smoke contains a lot of the same toxins and carcinogens as directly inhaled smoke and may even contain more, according to some research. Powered by Rubicon Project, is one better for you than the other? You might argue that joints are better for you because there's no tobacco in a joint, but the benefit is minimal. There's no safe way of smoking anything. Joints, spliffs, blunts, pipes, bongs, they all carry risks. Are there other options? With cannabis becoming increasingly accessible, you have more options than ever for consuming pot that don't involve smoking. Edibles. Ingesting cannabis isn't new. People have been making pot brownies and steeping marijuana leaves for tea for ages. These days, you have more options in areas with legalized cannabis, including gummies, lollipops, and capsules. Just keep in mind that overindulging is a lot easier with edibles, so go slow, especially if you're new to cannabis. Oils. Cannabidiol oil, or CBD oil, is derived from cannabis. CBD oil doesn't contain THC, which is the compound that makes you high, but you get all of the other benefits. You can apply CBD oil to your skin to relieve pain or add it to food and drinks. You can also find CBD oil capsules. Sprays are a newer way of using marijuana. Liquids are infused with CBD and THC to make sprays that you apply under your tongue. The catch? This is a relatively new method, so there's not much research on the safety of cannabis sprays. Vaping. There isn't any long-term data available yet on the safety of vaping. And in recent months, it's been linked trusted source to serious illnesses and even death. If you're going to give it a try anyway, be sure to get your cartridges from a licensed dispensary. Avoid liquids containing additives, including coloring, flavoring, and scents. The bottom line: blunts, spliffs, and joints are the main players when it comes to rolled cannabis. While each is slightly different from the other, they all come with the negative effects of smoking. To use marijuana and avoid the harmful effects of smoke, consider an alternative method. Just be sure to get your products from a licensed dispensary. Be smart with your dosing to avoid any other unsavory effects, too.